Hello relations and welcome. This is the beginning sequence of the Wudong Qigong series. Let's start in our standing Wuji posture with our feet a little bit wider than shoulder width. This is a great sequence for regulating your body and your mind. Your nervous system, your endocrine system, they'll all receive benefit and regulation through this practice. So let's establish our standing posture. We want our knees slightly bent, and then we're going to have a little sinking down of our hips and then a little tucking of our tailbone. Throughout the whole practice, try to keep this leg position, and especially this next one. A little toning of your pelvic floor and a little pulling into the low belly. And this will allow the breath to naturally anchor down to the lower centers. And then as you breathe in, you're expanding. And then as you exhale, you're slightly contracting and pulling in the pelvic floor and the lower abdomen. We want relaxation of the whole spine. And you may think about your lower spine sinking down to the earth. Slight tuck of your chin, and then the upper spine is lifting up. Let's take a few minutes to relax the shoulders, place your hands underneath your navel, and practice some of that deep lower abdominal breathing. Try to keep this positioning as we go through the remaining practice. In addition, a little smile, like just a little smirk, a little positive energy will help to uplift your practice. And if the smirk becomes a little bit out of alignment, just have a sense of inner kindness, just a little bit of love for yourself in the practice, and then your whole body and mind will benefit from that too. Okay, we're gonna start with a series of opening and closing exercises. So we'll place our fingers on our forehead, and then we're going to exhale with open eyes, and then hold the breath with open eyes and arms. And then as you inhale, you're going to gather the breath in the center of the brain, and then close your eyes down, and then a slight pause of the breath here, breath hold. Then you're going to exhale, slowly open the eyes, exhaling, and then hold the breath here. And then inhaling, closing down the eyes, holding the breath there. So repeating this on your own time, on your own breath, and practicing expanding, releasing, and then gathering in. So we're gathering the breath. You may want to visualize it or simply visualize it as the light of your awareness. So where you place your conscious mind and intention, that's where your breath is going to go, and then we'll get some energy exchange there. Throughout the practice, stay attentive to the sensations in your body and maintain that slight pelvic floor engagement, just that little Buddha smirk. And then next time you inhale, maintain your closed eyes. And then exhale as if drawing the breath down the body, down the spine. Bring your hands down with you, and then have them touching underneath the navel. We're going to do the same thing. So exhale, open the eyes, open your hands, arms. Hold the breath for a moment. And then inhale, gather the breath into the lower centers, slight contraction of the pelvic floor to help anchor the breath there. And then repeating, same sequencing. Exhale, opens the eyes, expanding, relaxing the lower centers. Inhale, gathering in, contracting the lower centers, holding breath in, eyes closed. last few. Make sure to perfect the posture here as best as you can. Come back to those principles, bent knees, sink your hips, contractions of the pelvic floor, slight smile, elongated spine. And on your final one here, we'll finish with the eyes open, with the inhale, hands on the navel. Place your palm over your palm and we'll rotate 9 times both directions. Get a sense of warming and gathering the breath in these lower centers. Taking a moment in stillness to fully receive the sensations and the effects of the practice. Beautiful. And then we'll lift the hands up and then give them a shake. We'll loosen up everything. You can loosen up the lips and the jaw with a big exhale. In stillness with the hands up, all the fingers open, and then all the hands as if they had a little energy ball in them. We're going to bring those 2 little energy balls together and then we're going to rotate it either direction. Breath is steady and connected, so it has no pause between inhale or exhale. And then because we're making a circle like out in the world, in the external environment, also imagine that circle internally as if we're rotating energy around in the lower abdomen. You can also do a little bit of movement from one leg to another, shifting the weight over to one side and then the other. Great practice for balancing the body. And then rotating in the opposite direction here. Feeling the sensations in the hands, any tingling, any warmth. And then palm over palm, bring that little energy ball, the energy you've cultivated, into the lower abdomen. Take a nice full breath in here, full expansion of the lower centers. And then we're going to practice opening and closing the triple burner. So we're going to begin with the upper burner, which is in the lung and heart region. We'll have our hands in prayer position. Very similar to the first exercise, we're going to exhale as if pulling energy like taffy apart. And then inhale, we're going to gather the breath and our hands together. As much as we're doing this externally with our hands, we're also going to be gathering the breath inside the body towards the midline. So as you expand, it's like you're opening up your whole chest and lung region. And as you exhale, you're compressing and gathering everything towards the midline. Once again, you can choose to do the breath hold as we're doing, or you can do a connected breath so that there's no pause between inhale or exhale. The key is mindful breathing. You can keep the tongue to the roof of the mouth for the remainder of the practice, and you can also keep the eyes open. If they are open, try to soften your gaze. Maybe open up your peripheral vision, or simply kind of blur the vision without actually blurring your eyes, just allowing your gaze to not really focus on anything in particular. And this will help to increase internal awareness without getting pulled out into the external world too much with our attention. the upper burner in the TCM system involves the lungs and the heart region. The triple burners help to regulate heat throughout the body. So we're cleansing excess heat as well as any stagnant energy that may be caught in the upper centers. And we're facilitating this movement by helping to breathe into the body, which is also going to have a regulatory effect for all the endocrine glands in the area, as well as the nervous system proper. And we'll finish up the one that you're on. And then we're going to move the hands. The fingers can go towards, or away from you, pardon me. I'm going to say towards the camera. And then we're going to work on the middle burner now. So same movement, exhale, pull apart, and then inhale, gathering in. Middle burner has our liver and our spleen and our stomach on it. And then as you're doing this, really tune into how the breath changes as we're now breathing more into the midsection of the body. And we're creating an expansion and contraction there. And then see if you can notice maybe there's some tightness there. Maybe there's discomfort in the region, maybe the diaphragm feels stuck, or maybe it feels really open and good. We're monitoring the sensations and learning about ourselves, learning about our organ health, and through continued practice, we can help to make the body more and more efficient, and we'll become more and more aware of ourselves, which will help us in all of our decision making. And finishing up the one that you're on, and now the fingers are going to point down as we work with the lower centers, the lower burner, and then we'll do the same motion, exhaling, pulling, inhaling, gathering. Once again, we can also work with the contraction and relaxation of the lower centers. So as you exhale, relax your pelvic floor a little bit, and as you inhale, there's a slight contraction, pulling in. You'll feel kind of like a magnetic energy when you do this for a while, and begin to gather more and more of the breath in these lower centers. The lower burner has the large intestine, the rectum, as well as the kidneys and the urinary bladder. And keep that gentle little smile, and you can also smile down. It's a practice in Qigong, is the inner smile. So it's like you're directing the energy of your smile, just as you would smile towards somebody, towards your own body. And you're directing it down into the lower burner, the kidneys, large intestine, etc. Just like anybody else, the body responds to appreciation and love, and it will begin to harmonize and work in a more productive way when it's treated really well. And to finish, let's move palm over palm underneath the navel 18 times both directions. Gathering this energy, slight contraction of the pelvic floor, breath anchored in the lower centers. complete, pausing in stillness, breath still anchored down, and just noticing any changes. Moment to moment, you never know what's going to arise in the nervous system. You never even know what you're going to think next. So just have an openness, like a curious awaiting for the next sensation to rise and fall, or the next thought to rise and fall. And be in witness of it. And because we've cultivated some energy, you might notice where it's beginning to move. Sometimes the body will send the additional resources into certain regions, and this is going to help them to heal and regulate. So just closing the eyes down, standing witness, and just feeling everything you can in the system. Feel free to stand as long as you would like, or do some additional massaging movements for the body to help bring the qi and the good energy you have into the body more effectively. Thank you for practicing. I